What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Goose Games. It is your boy, the Goose, and the Goose is loose, baby. Ha! And I am finally here with my Falcon and Winter Soldier review. If this is your first video since I returned from my little hiatus, thank you for jumping in again. If you're new here, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as we are climbing towards 100 subscribers. And every subscription counts. Everybody that's already subscribed, I appreciate you. And anybody that's watching, considering subscribing, it would mean the world to me. So, hit that subscribe button, throw me a like, maybe comment, give your thoughts on my thoughts. Tell me what you think I'm right or wrong about, you know? I'd like to start a conversation with some of my viewers. That's otherwise I'm just kind of talking into the void here. So, episode 1 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They did not release the first two like they did for WandaVision, which kind of think they could have. There wasn't a ton happening in this episode, but the character development was excellent, and I really enjoyed it. I have less than a half a page of notes here, so this shouldn't be too long of a video. I'm hoping as this series goes, I think it will start to pump up interest a lot, for sure. Not to say it's not interesting. I mean, it's good, but let's start to see where this plot goes. Right off the bat, we find out that Falcon, or Anthony Mackie, or Sam Wilson, is returning the shield. He is not returning it, but he's giving it to the Smithsonian. And this, I'm assuming, Republican senator tells Sam that what he did, giving the shield back, was the right thing to do. And then we see him later in the episode, and I think he actually meant was the white thing to do. So then we see the badass opening sequence with Sam trying to stop George St. Pierre from crossing some... I can't remember the other country. My apologies, I didn't write that down. But crossing borders. The interesting thing... George St. Pierre, the guy that I believe was speaking French in the episode, he was hired by Nick Fury the last time we saw him in The Winter Soldier. Could he be hired by the government again? It's possible. I have a theory about what's going on with Sam and the government, but I'll get to that at the end. So then we find out Joaquin Torres is Sam's man on the ground, and it seems like somebody they are pairing with Sam. Something's off about him. He's a red herring, I think. Well, first off, in the comics, he becomes Falcon. I believe in the Young Avengers, he's the Falcon. But he felt really awkward or nervous, which makes me think they want us to believe he's a villain, but really, I think he's going to end up being somebody who ends up good, but is being forced to do things for the government right now. So I think keep an eye on Joaquin. I hope I'm saying his name right. Joaquin Torres. It's something to keep an eye on. And Sam says every time one of these government workers gets their hand on Red Wing, it goes like on the fritz. Are they sabotaging him? That's kind of tying into my point at the end, so we'll put a button in that. Sam ends up making the save, and it's awesome. It was a great opening scene. They kind of had like the Iron Man angle going on for Sam, which was cool. And then we cut to Bucky in therapy. And when his therapist asks him what he wants, he says he wants peace. And she says that's bullshit. I saw some people saying that Oh, so never mind. This wasn't the therapy scene yet. No, it was. It was. People didn't like the weird angles of this therapy sequence. To me, it was to make you feel as anxious as Bucky feels. Bucky, he's 107, but like, how many of those years was he asleep as an agent? How many of those years was he killing people? Therapy must be incredibly hard for him at that point. He makes his three rules, which are hilarious. The no violence, something, and then he has to smile and tell them his real name. It's funny. Um, then Bucky is at the bar with a friend, an older Asian gentleman, and there's a cute girl behind the bar. So the older gentleman asks her on a date for Bucky. And then, heartbreaking. The old man sees red mochi, and it reminds him of his son, who you found out he lost. Um, so other than that, you find out at the end of the scene, Bucky is getting a date. I thought it was interesting too. There's a moment, I think, when he's talking about the son, the old man that is, Bucky, they still use the sound effect of his scream from falling off the train as like that main Winter Soldier distorted, like, I don't even know, it's like an echo. It's piercing every time the Winter Soldier, and it doesn't break until Bucky blinks, which shows like he was getting, it was almost like his PTSD was overcoming him and he has to like blink to snap himself out of it. It's really sad. I can already tell I'm going to relate a lot with Bucky in this show, or as I it's going to be interesting because Bucky seems to be ready to make real change in his life, and I want to see him go that way. So I'm really excited to see these therapy sessions progress. I really am. I think that's going to be the core of Bucky's story, is probably those therapy sessions. And then we meet Sam's sister Sarah and his two nephews, and we find out they have a boat that a fishing boat that was the family's boat that the sister wants to sell, and Sam is against that. Sam wants to do what he can to get money, to try to get a loan to save the boat. And the sister seems very much like the sister that stayed home and didn't get to go away and had to stay there and work on that boat, and she ended up raising kids. Whereas Sam is like the member of the family who got away. And it's not anger or envy, but it's there with Sarah and Sam. I really like their. I liked the actress playing Sarah. She was really good. I really enjoyed her performance and her interactions. Um, let's see. So then we get to Bucky's date, and it's a little awkward. I mean, I guess he hasn't been on the dating scene a ton since he was taking girls out to dance back in World War I or two or whatever, two. Um, so it's a little awkward, and she brings up some things she shouldn't, like reading his mind, which his mind was somebody's weapon for a long time. And then I think she asks about siblings, and Bucky just. The dating scene is hard for somebody with trauma. Um, and he ends up leaving. And then you see the flashback to find out that Bucky killed that old man's friend or son, his friend's son. And earlier, when I told you about his three rules, he goes to see a senator, and when he executes those three rules, no violence, no something, and then my name is James Buchanan Barnes, formerly the Winter Soldier. I am here to make amends. Smile and leave. And you see him cross out a name, and he does the same for that guy. And it's heartbreaking. Like, Bucky is stuck righting the wrongs that weren't even really his wrongs. And the trauma, the wrongs aren't his, but the trauma is. He pulled the trigger every time. Did he have say? No. But he pulled the trigger. And I can't even imagine what that would be like to live with. And I think that's why Bucky really grabbed me this episode. Really, I'm excited to see where this story goes. And then we finally get to see the villains of this series, the Flag Smashers, which Joaquin had told Sam about earlier. And so Joaquin goes and there's like, it's a virtual thing. So he goes to the event and he gets fucked up by the main Flag Smasher. and it looks like the Flag Smashers leaders are advanced. Like, they are altered. I don't know if this is mutants. I don't know if this is just going to be experiments. I don't know what. But then Joaquin says, when talking about the leaders of the Flag Smashers, do you think it could be a... And Sam cuts him off. It only took one episode for Marvel to make me think mutants again. Then we see... I just wrote gross. When Sarah comes in the room and shows Sam what's happening. And shows him the press conference where Republican senator from earlier... I'm sorry that I'm assuming he's a Republican. I'll stop making political assumptions. But that senator introduces, as I said, a white Captain America, played by Wyatt Russell, Kurt Russell's son. If you don't know, the guy playing the new Captain America, he was in 22 Jump Street as the frat boy quarterback dude that Channing Tatum had to become friends with. So, the more you know. Watching that felt awful. Anthony Mackie was working this episode. He's charming as hell, as we all already knew, but the emotional stakes at the beginning and end of the episode were perfect. Really strong stuff. So I'll get into a couple of my theories going forward now. I had hinted at the idea that I think the government could be setting up Sam to fail, and it feels that way. He said whenever they tinker with Red Wing, it's on the fritz and it goes haywire. Why? Because they're sabotaging him. They're sending him on this weird one-man mission where the jacking is already in progress, and it's George St. Pierre, somebody who has previously been hired by governments to do jobs. And then they have this guy like shadowing Sam, who when he reached for Red Wing, Sam got real defensive. As if the government is trying to push Torres for, like, their Falcon. They already have their Cap. Now Joaquin Torres could be their Falcon. Then the post-credit stuff, with all of the stuff in that post-credit scene, not post-credit scene, the credits. Shut up. I got a virus protection notice, sorry. There's a ton of hints to, like, Isaiah Bradley, the black Captain America who came first. There's like weird spray paint, like the enhanced will not save us. It seems like this is very much going to be government propaganda driven. I think it's going to shine a light on the racial injustices our country is still going through every day. When the shield gets taken from a capable black man and given to a white man, what do you want us to think? And that, like I said, that senator, he seemed, you did the right thing. Yeah, you did the white thing. This is going to be an uncomfortable watch for a lot of people because it's going to hit very close to home. But I think Loki was the series I was like most excited for this phase. But Falcon and the Winter Soldier would be second for me because Winter Soldier, Captain America and the Winter Soldier, is my second favorite Marvel movie. Only behind Guardians of the Galaxy. And that movie is like The Dark Knight, or it's one of those movies that transcends the genre of superhero. And I think this show is going to do the same thing. So I think the government's trying to screw Falcon and potentially other Avengers. Maybe we get a hint of that with Rhodey. That was already a surprise. I didn't know Rhodey was showing up. I still think we're going to see Steve. I'm sorry. I feel like at the end he's going to come back and be like, the shield was never government property. I brought that from another timeline. You don't own that. I own that. And I gave it to Sam. It's Sam's. And then Sam will probably say, oh, I don't want it, and give it to maybe Joaquin Torres. I don't know. Because he's Falcon. I don't think he will be Captain America. I think he is Falcon. I think we will see the original black Captain America, Isaiah Bradley, and his son. His son could become the new Captain America, I think. I think the shield should end in the hands of a person of color. Otherwise, you're sending a real. If it doesn't, what was the point of, like, maybe they won't touch race, but I can't imagine they won't. So I think the shield will end up in the hands of a person of color. And I think it'll probably be Isaiah Bradley's son. I hope it's Isaiah Bradley is the right name. I hope Isaiah Bradley isn't the kid and the grandfather's a different name. I haven't read the comics. I've just been kind of hearing about them over the past week. All right, so that's about a 15-minute review. I'm very excited. Um, I'm not going to go as crazy with the theories this time. I really don't think I am. It felt like WandaVision punished us for that, if I'm being honest. So if my excitement seems subdued, that might be why. Um, but yeah, I'm very excited for this show. I hope you guys are excited to watch my reviews. I'm going to get my reviews out on a very timely manner going forward now that my setup is all done. Sorry this review came so late, but they will be coming out probably like during the day Friday or Saturday from now on. So, if you made it through this review, let me know how excited you are. Whose story are you more excited for, Bucky or Sam? I think while Sam is the heart of this story, I think I'm more excited for Bucky, just because I can't relate to Sam's plight at the moment. I don't have the same plight as him, but with Bucky, obviously I'm not a killer. I haven't killed anybody, but I have traumas in my own life, and I have anxieties in my life, and I'm somebody coming to grips with coming to therapy, so that really, really engages me. So I think that might be the story I relate to more, but let me know what you think. Hit that like button for me, hit subscribe if you haven't, and I never end these smoothly, I'm sorry, guys. But thank you for hanging out with me today. The Goose is out.